I am the stepmother of a boy who just turned 6. His mother died when he was an infant, so there is no bio mother in the picture. He spends time with his maternal grandmother about once a month, usually for a weekend at a time. This has been going on for a year now. Prior to that, she lived farther away, and it was not as often for the visits. His grandmother is a little off in the best of circumstances. Now, I want to preface this by saying, I am not accusing her of anything. I am just wondering if this sounds unusual to anyone else. Lately, say the last 5 he saw her, he comes back home with his pajamas unworn. She doesn't send any of his clothes home washed, so I can tell easily what he wore and didn't. I asked him, "Hey, what do you wear to sleep at grandma's?" And he got really worried looking, like he was going to be in trouble if he told me, but eventually caved and told me he sleeps in his underwear only. I asked him where he sleeps at his grandma's. I always just assumed she made up the couch for him, and he said, in her bed with her. I asked him what his grandma wears to bed, and he said, her underpants. Now, am I often thinking it is inappropriate for a 6-year-old boy to sleep in only his underpants in the same bed as his grandmother, who is only in her underpants? This is not anything I ever saw or did as a child. We never slept in just underwear, not even in the summer, and never in bed with an adult unless we were sick or something. It's not only the fact that he is sleeping in her bed in his underwear while she is only in hers that bothers me. It's the shame he obviously felt in telling me. Like either it feels wrong to him as well, or he was told not to tell me, I don't know. When he visits my husband's parents, he sleeps on the couch in their family room, as he has done his whole life basically since he was out of a crib. He never has any issues there. I asked him about it again the other day, when he came back from a visit, and he immediately broke down sobbing and saying, "Grandma's couch is dirty. I can't sleep on it. Don't make me stop seeing Grandma." As if he is being told by her not to tell us where he sleeps. I told my husband I think he as the father should tell her he needs to be sleeping with clothes on at the very least, but says even if we tell her he needs to sleep clothed on the couch, she won't listen. He basically says she's weird, but she's harmless. And even if we threaten to stop allowing him visits, does that even matter? We have no way of knowing what she is doing or not doing over there. She could promise to stop, but continue it, and we really won't know. Thoughts? Edit. I just think it's important to say that the PJs he is sent with are a t-shirt and shorts or fleece pants depending on season. The same thing he wears to bed at home. It's not like I'm expecting him to sleep in a nun's habit. Also, to those who pointed out Grandma's couch might really be very dirty, I never consider that honestly. To me, a dirty couch might have a few items on it that can be easily cleared off and put away. Grandma does have hoarding issues and isn't a very hygienic person herself, so it is very possible the couch is quite dirtier than I ever imagined. Edit. One more thing, with regards to the hoarding. Grandma has been a hoarder as long as my husband has known her, and I think that's why he kind of writes it off. Many of you are rightly appalled that we let him visit a known hoarder. But my husband doesn't see the actual danger of the hoarding situation, as it has never caused danger in her case before. She doesn't keep house as well as we do, that's a fact, but it's not the level of stuff you see on TV with bugs and mice and 40 million cats and rotten food. But it's definitely extremely cluttered and she won't throw anything away. She does throw food away, or at least always has in the past. He feels like since he has known her many years and even had her living with him at one point, he knows the general state of her home and doesn't consider it dangerous. I think the potential for danger is totally there, but I don't know how to get him to see that it's really not normal. You guys very well could be exactly right that it's more of a, I don't want my parents to know how Grandma's house is or they won't let me go there reaction. I never considered that as an option. I thought the problem was the underwear thing, which, while still unusual to me, the bed sharing as a result of uncleanliness, hoarding is the bigger problem, thank you. Relevant comments. Somebody said, sleeping in underwear. Not at all weird if it's his choice, but weird that Grandma doesn't dress him in the pajamas you provide. Sleeping next to Grandma? Not necessarily weird at his age. His reaction to you asking about it? Very concerning. Your husband's response that Grandma will disregard instructions from the parents? Also concerning. Another commenter, this is weird. He basically says, she's weird, but she's harmless. Is this all he had to say? What else is weird about her? And how does he know it's harmless? Behavior doesn't have to be illegal to be harmful. I think a lot of people forget to draw separate lines there. I recall that Michael Jackson claims that he was just sleeping in bed with the children and nothing sensual ever happened. Well, sorry, but that's still weird and inappropriate for a man your age. You need to tread lightly, as really your husband is the one who has to do something since it's his son and former mother in law. But you need to keep your ears and eyes peeled. Don't do anything drastic unless something drastic happens, as you don't want your stepson to clam up about his sleepovers. Just listen for anything that crosses any more lines and inform your husband of any further inappropriate behavior. Original poster replied, "The other weird things about her are pretty subjective, I guess. She is a serious hoarder, has terrible financial responsibility, is kind of unhygienic, extremely religious." So by harmless, I think he means she isn't really hurting anyone, but she is noticeably odd to the general public. Update. So, after all your comments, I pushed my husband to have us drive his son to the grandmother's house next time she asked to have him for the weekend, which was this past weekend. He didn't immediately agree to it, but eventually caved. Here's what happened. Turns out Grandma lives in a fairly new townhouse community. Typical beige walls, beige carpet, laminate cabinets type deal. You all know the kind, I'm sure. When we got there, I said I really needed to use the bathroom. She at first was trying to tell me that there is a big 24/7 gas station a mile further down the road. Told you she hates me. But I told her it was pretty urgent and I would be quick. My husband just followed me in with my stepson, and you could tell Grandma was nervous. Ladies and gents, I was actually not as horrified as I thought I'd be. The townhouse was most certainly cluttered, but I would not call it a fire hazard. I would call it very tastefully decorated. Knick-knack shelves on every wall, lots of magazines and flyers on tables, ugly-ass artificial swags above every door. The kind of place that would never look clean, even if it were. Just a lot of ugly crap, but nothing dirty. The bathroom was messier than I would live with, but didn't seem gross. Lots of bottles and stuff laying out, that kind of thing. Toilet seemed normal, and I peeked in the tub and it had a lot of bottles, but wasn't dirty. Baseboards and study could have used a cleaning, but I can't say mine are spotless all the time, so I don't know. I thought it was a 1-bed, 1-bath, but turns out it is a 2-bed, 1-bath. One bedroom being Grandma's bedroom, the other being a sewing room, storage room. I looked in and there's certainly no room for a bed in it. Lots of boxes and totes and a big table with a sewing machine. I figured out the couch thing, I think. The couch is very obviously her dog's bed. Her dog is this big, white, reasonably friendly creature, but it was clear the couch is its spot. There was a fleece blanket covering most of the couch and said, "Blanket was covered in dog hair." I would not want to sit on that, nor sleep there. So, as far as the underwear stuff, I made a point to tell Grandma that his PJs are in the bag, and he needs to be wearing them, that he mentioned he doesn't wear them and we prefer he did. She was taken a little aback and kind of stumbled out an, "Oh, okay." My husband then added that since he is sleeping with her, she needs to be clothed too, as he also told us she slept in her underwear. She vehemently denied that, saying she sleeps in a granny gown. So it would appear that the couch is indeed not a suitable sleeping spot. My husband told Grandma that next time we will be bringing a twin-size air mattress for her to keep there for him. I personally wish my husband had done that this time, but I am picking my battles with him, but I'm going to make damn sure he does. When my stepson returned home, his PJs appeared worn. He claimed he wore them, and I said, "Okay, but you won't be in trouble if you didn't. You just need to tell me." And he insisted he wore them. So the visits aren't going to stop. My husband just does not think that is necessary. We will be providing Grandma with an air mattress to keep there for my stepson, and we will be monitoring the PJ situation. Thank you all for your comments on the original post. I'm doing the best I can to make this situation better. Edit. Please read the original post before commenting. Grandma is not my mother-in-law. She is not my husband's mother. She is my husband's first wife's mother. Edit 2. Please read the original post. Those private messaging me telling me I'm sick for falsely accusing someone of molestation. I hardly call an anonymous "What do you think of this situation?" post on a subreddit an accusation of molestation. Calm down. What if it had been molestation? Would I have been out of line then? No. Then it would be, "That poor boy, why didn't you step in sooner?" Relevant comments. Reiterate to your son that if anyone says, "Don't tell mom," he needs to tell you. There shouldn't be secrets in your family. Also, hubby needs to be clearer with mom that she needs to be respectful of you. And yes, you do have a right to see the house and ask questions before you leave him with anyone. He needs to tell her that telling a kid's secrets sets him up for abuse and disrespecting his mom sets him up for becoming a brat. Original poster replied, "She is his former mother-in-law, not his mother, his first wife's mother. Just want to clarify that."
My husband and I are about to be first-time parents, as I'm currently 35 weeks pregnant. We found out it was a girl, and my husband suggested the name Tiffany. I immediately fell in love with the name. I asked him where he got it from, and he told me that he heard it while watching a movie, and it stuck with him. I didn't think much of it. We decided that we both loved the name, and that it was going to be our little girl's name. However, a few days ago, my sister-in-law and I were talking on FaceTime, and we got onto the topic of the name. She mentioned how surprised she was that I agreed to that name because she'd never want to name her child after her husband's high school girlfriend. I was really confused at first and asked her what the heck she meant. She told me that my husband dated a girl named Tiffany from 10th grade until they were juniors in college. While I knew my husband had a long relationship in high school and college, I never knew the girl's name. My sister-in-law could tell how upset I was and assumed that my husband told me where he got the name from. I told her that he told me that he heard it from a movie and he never mentioned it was his ex-girlfriend's name. She apologized and told me that she didn't mean to upset me. I wasn't upset with her, though. I was, and still am, so angry at my husband. After hanging up, I confronted my husband and asked him if what his sister said is true. He tried to blow it off at first, but eventually admitted that it's true. We argued back and forth for a while before I told him that I would not name my daughter after his ex-girlfriend, and I refused to use the name Tiffany anymore. He tried to convince me that it wasn't a big deal, but it is to me because he lied to me about where the name came from, and I don't want to look at my daughter every day and remember that she's named after my husband's ex-girlfriend, and it makes me feel like he still loves her as far as I know. They're not in contact and haven't been since they broke up. He told me that I was overreacting, acting like a child, and that I can't change my mind now since I'm due in 5 weeks. I feel hurt and betrayed. Am I the a-hole for not wanting to name my daughter after my husband's ex-girlfriend? Edit. After I finally got him to admit the truth, I asked him why he wanted to use that name in the first place, and he told me because he thought it was pretty and that his ex-girlfriend was such a good person that he wanted to name our daughter after her, but thought that I wouldn't agree to it, which I don't. So he told me that he heard it from a movie instead of being honest. I just wanted to thank everyone so much for the support. Reading through your comments has really helped me realize that I'm not going to be manipulated into naming my daughter anything but what feels right to me. My husband slept over at his parents' guest house last night because of the quarantine. He didn't go near his parents. Don't worry, because I felt like I needed some time away from him. I'm going to talk to him when he gets home today, though. I'll update everyone once we've had a chance to talk and let you all know what ends up happening. In the meantime, I posted on Name Nerds to get some ideas for new names. I'm really excited to look into names, so if you'd like to suggest any names, you can find my post on my profile. I'd love any and all suggestions. Top comment. Redditor. If he thought it wouldn't be an issue that it was his ex-girlfriend's name, he wouldn't have lied about it. Plain and simple. He deceived you into agreeing to the name. He continued to lie to you when you confronted him, and now he's trying to force you to keep the name with ridiculous logic. You can't change your mind 5 weeks before giving birth? What kind of BS is that? Even if you would have been okay with the name originally had he been honest, now it's tainted by the fact that he lied to you about it. Somebody asked, "Is he usually like this?" Original poster replied, "I would normally say he's not usually like this at all, but now that I'm thinking about it, he has been acting weird for the past few months and has been kind of distant. I have no idea what to do at this point. I feel completely clueless and lost." Redditor, you understand the alternative is saying, Oh, well, let's just forget this forever then. Agree to disagree, though, right? Check if it's the hill you need to die on. Original poster replied, I definitely won't forget that this happened, and I think that it's important that we do attend some kind of counseling. I'm just not sure how I can get him to go. And I'm due in 5 weeks. Or she could come earlier. And with the quarantine, I'm not even sure when we could go to counseling, but I don't want to put this off either. I feel way too betrayed to just let this go. Update. I originally posted this in Relationship Advice Forum, but it was removed for some reason. So I can't respond to anyone in the comments. However, I've been reading through all the comments, and they've really helped me a lot. If anyone else would like to offer advice, I'd appreciate it a lot. For now, I've decided that I'm going to take the time I need to think about everything before making a decision on what to do. Again, all advice is appreciated and welcomed. Thank you so much. I recently posted on Am I the Asshole, asking if I was the asshole for not wanting to name my unborn daughter after my husband's ex-girlfriend. Basically, my husband suggested the name Tiffany for our daughter, without telling me that it's the name of his ex-girlfriend. Instead, he told me it was from a movie. I eventually found out that it's his ex-girlfriend's name and decided that I won't name my daughter Tiffany. My husband called me childish and told me that I couldn't change my mind so close to the due date, 5 weeks away. A lot of people have mentioned that he might be cheating on me with his ex-girlfriend, or he still has feelings for her. I've thought about it a lot, and based on how he's been acting the past few months, they might have a point. So, when my husband got back from spending the night at his parents' guest house, he had no contact with his parents. I demanded that we have a serious talk. It was pointless at first. I basically just kept repeating the same thing over and over again as he refused to comment on anything I said. Finally, I asked him if he was cheating on me. He immediately denied it. But I didn't believe him. I continued to pester him about it, and he finally admitted that he's been texting his ex-girlfriend for a little bit. But that's it. Again, there was no way I was going to believe him. I asked him how long they've been in contact. He told me not long. But I wanted a real answer, so I asked again. He told me for a few months. Basically, from what he told me, he was in contact with her for a few days before we found out it was a girl, and that's why he suggested the name Tiffany to me. We found out it was a girl at 22 weeks, and I'm now 35 weeks pregnant. So, he's been talking to her for about 13 weeks behind my back. I basically just cried and kept asking him questions to get as much information about it as I could. He kept trying to avoid each question, but I finally got answers out of him. He told me that she contacted him because she was getting married and was having second thoughts. My husband admitted to me that talking to her made him realize that he never stopped having feelings for her, but that he loves me too. And the reason he suggested the name Tiffany to me was because he knew he couldn't leave me to be with her. So he wanted something to honor her with, which doesn't make sense because it sounds like she's freaking dead when she isn't. I made him show me the messages, and they were flirty with hearts and winks, but nothing was sensual. From what he told me, his ex went through with getting married, and they both knew they couldn't be together again, but they enjoy talking with each other. We both ended up crying, and he kept begging me not to leave him, but it's wrong. It's so wrong. I don't know what to do. I'm lost. Completely. I tried to get him to leave for a few days and go back to his parents' guest house, but he refused. Now I'm sleeping in the guest bedroom, which only has a twin bed, because he's refusing to sleep anywhere but the master bedroom because he wants us to go back to normal. I feel like my entire world has collapsed. And I know people will tell me to leave him or divorce him, but I'm 5 weeks away from giving birth to our daughter, and with the pandemic happening, I don't know what to do. I need help. The stress and emotional pain is making my stomach and back ache, and I feel like I'm going to throw up. I feel so hurt and confused and betrayed. What should I do? Please help. I apologize if this post is all over the place. I'm just way too upset to actually care. If I left out important information or if you have questions, I'll answer anything. I just need advice and guidance. In the comments section, somebody said, "My heart hurts for you. Is there anywhere you can go for a few days, weeks, or months? Do you have family, friends to offer you support through this? Perhaps you could stay at the in-laws' guest house short term? I think your sister-in-law may have been pointing you towards the truth intentionally. Maybe she can help you navigate your next steps. Your husband's actions have been 100% wrong, and this is not your fault. Your response is appropriate, and his behavior continues to be selfish and disrespectful. Take all the time you need to process this betrayal. I would strongly suggest seeing a counselor to help you work through your grief. Should you decide to stay in this marriage, couples therapy will help you set boundaries moving forward. Please focus on your health and healing. Don't feel pressured to make a decision until you're ready. Your husband wants a return to normalcy, but there's going to be a new normal. If your husband was worried about the health of your family, he wouldn't have cheated on you, then tried to name your daughter after his affair partner. What he's done is not okay. You still have a beautiful baby girl to look forward to, and you will heal from this in time. Another said, "This guy is only going to say what you want to hear, and what's worse, he's trying to manipulate you into accepting his behavior is normal along the way. It seems like he's going to jump at the first opportunity, but he's too much of a coward to do anything that doesn't feel safe, and that includes not staying with you when another relationship starts to look possible again." You became the unsafe option at that time. Then it seems he realized that he would actually need to put in effort with this other person too. And it sounds like the other woman was ultimately the one who decided to go through with her marriage. The way you describe him telling you about this, it wasn't something that he realized was wrong for himself. What if she hadn't gone through with her wedding? Have you thought about where you might be right now? Do you really want to be with something like that for the rest of your life? Just waiting for the other shoe to drop, wondering if he'll get brave enough to abandon you, or if he'll always be too much of a coward to leave. He's already thinking about other options, even ones that he's dismissed in the past that aren't even available. A new woman would probably be even more entertaining to him. In the meantime, he wants to name your daughter after the one who got away. You really don't need to know any more information now. You know enough that you would be acting within your rights and well within the realms of logic and common sense, and you would be making the responsible decision to begin the process of separating from this person. I'm so sorry that you needed to find all this out in such a troubling way. If he couldn't make better decisions, not only for you, but not even for his unborn daughter right now, which is a huge milestone, then there's really very little hope that a situation will ever arise where he'll finally come to his senses. One commenter, "I'm so sorry you are going through this. I saw your other post, and hearing the update makes my heart break for you. It may seem silly, but put on paper everything you are feeling and thinking. Then, make a list of everything that you need to happen to move forward. He needs to immediately cut contact with her and block her in all forms. He is to never speak to or see her again if he wants any kind of relationship with you. You guys need couples counseling immediately to try and salvage this relationship. I would also check in with your doctor to make sure the stress isn't affecting your daughter. Then I want you to think of baby names for her. All the names you've had since childhood, put a list together and start thinking about what you want her to be named. When you have your lists and can be calm, then it's time to talk to your husband again. I'm sorry you are going through this. Is there any way you can go stay with family or friends for a few days that might be best? Maybe you can go to the parents' guest house. Original poster also gets name suggestions she likes over in a new post with the title, "I need help coming up with girl names for my unborn daughter. I recently posted, and am I the a-hole, asking if I was the asshole for not wanting to name my unborn daughter after my husband's ex-girlfriend. I've gotten a lot of support, and I've decided that no, I didn't overreact, and I'm not going to be manipulated into naming my daughter anything but what I feel is right. So, I'm asking for some help." The original name was going to be Tiffany. I really loved the name because of Tiffany Thiessen and Breakfast at Tiffany's. However, the name has now been tainted, and there's no way I could ever use it. The first time I looked up the name, I loved the fact that it was popular during the Middle Ages, lost popularity, but then gained it back in the 1960s after Breakfast at Tiffany's came out. I loved how feminine the name Tiffany is, and it sounded elegant to me at first. But now that I think about it, I feel like it's lost some of its charm in modern days. So I'm asking for help finding girls' names that are feminine, elegant, and refined. I'd like something unique, too. I definitely don't care about trends, either, but I don't want a name too old-fashioned, like Annie or something. I guess I want something between old-fashioned and modern, if that makes sense. This isn't necessary, but some names with a Greek association would be nice too. But again, not necessary at all. I hope someone can help me. Thank you.